Last Wednesday, your boy told you good people at home that the following day, the very next day, less than 24 hours later, I was going to the world and I was going to get a chance to ride a ride that's very controversial.
The buildup is killing me.
Well, let me tell you, the buildup in the ride won't.
Oh no!
We got in. So we talked a little bit about the process this time of getting the annual pass holder preview for Tiana's Bayou adventure at Walt Disney World is what we're talking about. It's controversial. Replace Splash Mountain. A bunch of people are upset. I don't know why. There's a lot of things that aren't great about Splash Mountain in the concept and story.
And we're at a point now where we can just update most things because it's not 1992 anymore.
With the annual pass holder preview this time, you had to get into a virtual queue.
Right.
So we were successful in getting into the first virtual queue, which launched at 7 a.m., but you didn't really know when, what spot you were going to get. You could get, spot 1, and then you got to get your ass to the park to get in there. You get a spot 100 in which you've got some time, right?
Yeah. Go get a churro.
Something.
Yeah.
So we got spot 14, which was very early on. Yeah. And we didn't really plan to be there early. So kind of scrambled a little bit, changed some plans. And the park opened at 9.
Mm-hmm.
But through these previews, they haven't actually started loading people till about 11 o'clock.
Okay.
So we got there about 11:30, 12 o'clock. They still had not. They had just started loading people when we were walking in for the first few numbers. So we're like, oh, we're gold.
I would say that. Like, that's perfect timing.
It was perfect timing. We scan in. We're in the queue. We're going through and we're looking at all the different changes and stuff that they made. And right off the bat, massive upgrade to the queue.
Really?
Like the Splash Mountain queue sucked. It was boring.
I don't remember it being that great.
There's a couple pictures on the wall.
Yeah.
That was it. They went full theming in the queue. So there's actually shit to look at while you're waiting for 5 hours to ride this goddamn thing. So big props to them for that. We go through the entire queue. We get to the turn right before you get loaded onto the ride, and the ride goes down. So we get evacuated out of the queue.
Yeah.
It's going to be a while, they said. So we got scanned on our magic bands and basically was told, watch the queue. If it opens up, you can come back at any time. And it's like, okay, well, that's nice because now we don't have to, specifically wait for it to open and run there. We can go whenever we want to at that point. Probably like right around 6 o'clock, the ride reopens again. So it went down from like noon until like 6 p.m. And so we're like, all right, let's get back over there. We rushed back over, get into the queue. And they actually had us go through the lightning lane queue, the shortened queue, because we had been evacuated before. So we get on the ride. And the one thing I said last week on the show is they better explain, why am I getting into a log? Because on Splash Mountain, right? You're in the briar patch, and like you're supposed to be like an animal floating down the river on a log, right? So I'm like, okay, well, we're not there anymore. We're supposedly in Tiana's factory, food supply, distribute. I don't know what the.
I've never seen the movie, so I can't comment.
The movie is excellent.
I've heard nothing but good things about the movie.
Princess and the Frog may be the best Disney princess movie. Period.
There you go.
Best music by far. But they never explained. I mean, it's a log. Like, why is the princess sending people through her factory on a log? Like, it makes no sense.
I don't think the log is the issue here.
It was for me. I couldn't get past it.
Okay.
And to my chagrin, they do not explain, other than like you're going down the bayou, which like I could do that in a boat, thank you very much, or a canoe. So we get on the ride, and we're going through the ride, and like I'm excited. Like I'm excited for this ride. And I'm going to say something that might be a little controversial to all those Disney fans out there. Splash Mountain was not a good ride. When you talk about like the story of the ride at Splash Mountain, it's is Bunny is complacent, wants to run away, gets chased by Fox and Bear. Fox and Bear catch Bunny. Bunny convinced Fox to throw him over the ledge instead of cooking him. Splash. But at the same time, I like Splash Mountain. Like it's fun.
Sure.
And but at the end of the day, like it was broken down. It needed replacing. So with all that being said, this ride was okay. We're going through the ride, and the first thing that I notice is that there are a lot of things or a lot of scenes that were in Splash Mountain populated by a lot of things to where in this new ride, they're not. And it seems very, compared to Splash Mountain, this ride seems a lot emptier. Basically, what they did was instead of Splash Mountain had a bunch of like very, very basic animatronics all throughout the ride.
Yeah.
So essentially, instead of having a bunch of basic animatronics, they did like 5 really complex ones.
Okay.
As kind of like the trade-off to that. So you're going through, and another big part of this was nobody really could figure out what the story of this ride was going to be because it's after the movie. There's no villain. Like they said, the villain's not in it. And then they kind of created this whole backstory for the ride, but nobody really like, what are we doing? Like why am I getting into a log? Like what is the point of this ride? Am I going on a factory tour? Am I trying to like capture like what are we doing?
Why does it does it matter though? Like what is the reasoning to have such an elaborate story? Like the whole point for me to go on a log ride is to go on a log ride. Like, hey, I'm at an amusement park.
But if you got a good story while you're doing it, then that better. Just saying. But anyway, the story of this ride is that apparently they made Tiana like the princess of New Orleans. She's throwing a party. Okay, is the story. Tiana's throwing a party, and she's trying to find the band to play at the party. And because Louis the alligator is an animal that plays an instrument, we're going back down the bayou to find other animals to join the band for this party. It's kind of like the Muppet movie meets like Emmett Otter's Jug Band.
Oh God.
So they're trying to put this band together. And so like you're going through, and there's a couple of animatronics for, I think there's a weasel, a bear, and then you go over to the other side and like there's an alligator and some other shit going on. And you're like, okay, like it's not the most compelling story of like we're putting a band together, but like I guess it's something. We're going through, and then all of a sudden, and you didn't see the movie, so you don't know these characters who I'm talking about, but the magical Mama Odie appears on a screen and says, well, if you want to really know who really plays, we're gonna have to shrink you down. And so the idea is that you do like this mini drop in the ride, and you're shrunken down to the size of a frog going through the bayou because you're going to find frog members to play in the band. And let me tell you, this is the best part of the ride.
Okay.
Because it is an acid trip. Like
I was just thinking, like at this point, I feel like you need to be on some kind of psychedelics. Don't actually take psychedelics, folks. We're not advocating for that. But like this feels like it would enhance the experience. Not that I'm advocating for it, but
do what you want. This is America.
Do what you want, but
in legal terms of
don't do anything illegal. Is what I'm trying to say.
Don't get sued.
Don't get sued. Hashtag don't get sued. Blakely. Oh God.
But anyway, so you go down into the frog lair. It's all day glow, and there's
cool.
animatronics of frogs playing the bongos,
Sick.
playing the piano. Like, it's
Awesome.
dope as
Yeah.
and I'm like, okay, it's finally getting interesting. And then Mama Odie pops back up again. And I can't remember exactly what she says, but at the same time, it didn't really make much sense. This was the big lift to the hill, like to the big lift up to the big drop kind of thing. So we get up. So it's not clear why we're climbing the big lift hill, but there's no drama. There's zero drama. Like in the previous ride, this is where the fox was going to eat the fucking bunny. So like there's dramatic music, there's fucking lights, there's a whole goddamn thing going on. They took that whole lift scene that was going on. They turned off all the fucking lights so it was black.
Yeah.
And then put like blue and or purple and gold lights flashing
Okay.
so like you're becoming big again.
Mm.
And then you just fall
Cool.
and you splash and then you go around the corner and then you go into the finale scene. But the momentum from the falling and the splashing and going into the scene is the most elaborate scene. It has probably 10 animatronics in it of all these fucking wacky characters doing all this shit. But you're going so fast you can see none of it and you have no idea what's going on. And when we rode it, Tiana was broken. And so she was standing there like this while her audio was singing, but she looked like she was being held up for money. Overall, it's okay. It's fine. Is it better than Splash Mountain? Yes, because it does not invoke slavery. It's a low bar, I know.
You know what? Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I may go on to Splash Mountain and be like, oh man, this ride's fun, but boy, it's kind of fucked up the source material. This, I'd be like, oh man, that ride was kind of fun. That's an improvement. That's an improvement right there. And Blakely makes a great point that the high-tech animatronics were extremely cool. The one thing I will say that I did not like, and it's the new trend in rides, is screen technology, projection technology.
Okay.
There was a lot of it.
Really?
Like a lot. Some of it was great. Some of it wasn't. The reason I think the ride is going down so much is because they have not figured out the timing with the screens and the animatronics.
Okay.
And so when we got to the final lift hill, I don't think we could understand what was happening because the timing of the screen of Mama Odie was off. And so like we're climbing a black tunnel with purple and gold lights for I don't know why. Being on the ride before, I'm like, this is the big drop. Like I know where I am. So there's no drama here. There's no anticipation. At the end of the day, it's a reskinning of a ride.
True. Yeah.
It's the same ride, but they've changed it enough to where it's not the same timing of the ride. So you're trying to adapt a new system to an old system, which seems like that would suck to have to do.
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm sure that's not like an easy task.
But it was very clear to me, and this ride opens to the public in 2 days. It's not ready. Like it's not even close to ready.
It's like how like you are Disney. You've been sitting on this for how long?
Well, and that
like and I totally get like the soft launch and like, hey, let's get people in here, see how it works, and like maybe making the notice of like this is a new ride. Some elements may not be working as expected. Totally understand that.
Yeah, and they supposedly said they took away the drama of the big drop because they thought more kids were going to ride it, and they didn't want to scare kids from the back. And I'm like, listen, that's the point. That's the point of the ride. Okay, I hate to break it to you, that is the point of the ride.
Like, isn't that the point of Disney is to like lay in some of those like subtle traumatizing experiences?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, like your parents are gonna die, you're gonna be kidnapped.
Figure it out.
Figure it out.
Yeah, don't wait for someone to save you. Like you gotta figure that shit out.
Yeah.
They wanted to do the right thing, but they wanted to do it so quickly that it just kind of ended up being a meh. Instead of what they should have done is in August this year is going to be D23, which is expected to be a load of new announcements and expansions. Give her own ride. Give her her own ride.
Oh, a whole new ride.
A whole new ride, a whole new system.
Ooh.
That way you can do it right.
Do you tear down Splash Mountain? Do you tear down the whole ride?
I would say yes.
I would say yes too.
I would say yes.
Because you want to know something? Log rides, as we said, they kind of suck. They're kind of an outdated concept. Here's what I think. If you have Ernest as the spokesperson for any part of your business, it's time to update your business. That's kind of my stance on it.
Final thoughts is if you love Splash Mountain, you're going to hate this ride. If you like The Princess and the Frog and you never rode Splash Mountain, you're going to love this ride. And if you're like me, who's like anything new, please.
Yeah.
Then like it's going to be fine.
And if you're like me, who just doesn't give a shit, you'll probably enjoy it.
Probably.
You'll probably have a good time.
You paid for your ticket. So.
I did pay for my ticket.
Mm-hmm.
I paid for my ticket and we had a good time. If I'm paying, okay, go to goddamn Disney World. Everybody that I'm with, we're having a good time whether we want to or not.
Exactly.
Okay.
There's going to be smiles on faces.
Yeah, you're right. You're going to smile the entire time. You have
That's
no
right.
choice. And if you're not smiling, you better smile.
That's right. You're going to be exhausted by the end of the trip, but you're going to be smiling.
Just put on that happy face now. Christy says, if you're like me and you hate log rides, you'll probably hate it. Yeah, you're kind of at a lose-lose at that point.
Very true. Very true. All right.
All right.
So that was the Disney report, ladies and gentlemen.